That is the hardest part of that ring.
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass.
For the hardest part of the ring.
Hello, everybody. Welcome
The hardest part of the ring.
Hello and welcome to episode 122 of Hardest Part of the Ring, the podcast where four friends get together to celebrate the wonder of professional wrestling. My name is Adam, and I did nearly forget the intro, and I'm joined today by three guys who I'd like to call my best friends who I do a pod with about wrestling. Sam is the first one.
Your best friends that you do a pod with, or your best friends, comma, and you do a pod with us?
Definitely no comma there.
Oh, okay.
John, hi.
Hello, how's it going?
Good. Yeah, pretty good. I was saying before, I am pretty damn tired, but if anything can G me up, it is getting together and doing this and talking about Payback. Brett, you are here as well. You're back.
I'm back. Part-timer is back in the chair.
Who's Brett?
Yes.
Who is Brett? Listeners will find out. We'll go on a journey with Brett and find out all about him. Perhaps every 5 or 10 minutes we could get a little Brett fact. Ooh, you up for that, Brett?
Yeah.
Just off the top of your head, Brett.
Yeah.
Brett, where were you born?
Chichester.
Nice.
Ooh,
there we
fancy.
go.
Facts.
Already learnt something new. The last podcast we had was last week. We talked about SummerSlam, of course, and just a week later, we're back talking about another WWE pay-per-view. Of course, we are going to review Payback very shortly. We're also going to be revealing the winner of our T-shirt giveaway. So that's very exciting. That's coming later. We're also going to see the return of Five Forever, which is a little segment where we discuss some other news stories from the world of wrestling. And we're also going to be discussing some very interesting feedback that we've had from Carl Luckhurst, our listener who was part of the Thunderdome at SummerSlam.
Correspondent Carl.
Correspondent Carl. So there's loads to look forward to, and I think we should just crack straight on with it after this break.
Look at this impact here in the hardest part of the ring.
Right then, Payback 2020. This is the first Payback since 2017. Do you remember that?
Yeah, sort of.
Did we review that?
Just before we started.
Or maybe we did it as one of our test episodes.
I'm not sure. Maybe.
Payback feels like one of those pay-per-views that is like C-list, but it comes around every year, doesn't it?
Well, I believe it first started in 2014, and then it was 15, 16, 17, and then they had a couple of years off, and here we are again.
Is there a list beneath C tier? Because I think that Payback might be considered by WWE in that category.
Yeah, Payback, Backlash, Fastlane.
Fastlane.
Yeah.
Smackville.
Smackville is below all of those.
Yeah, it is.
Definitely. So this was the first Payback since 2017, and we're going to find out whether or not it was a welcome return for it. It was held, of course, at the Thunderdome, which is something we're going to be saying about all WWE pay-per-views for the foreseeable future. I wonder if, I saw that football, they've started trialling things, haven't they? Brighton had a friendly with Chelsea the other day, and they let in like 3,000 fans or something.
Oh, I didn't know that, did they?
It seems like, fans are starting to come back to sport generally, although AEW are letting fans back.
Yeah.
Socially distanced.
At least you get that real sound of proper reactions to stuff, unlike the awful piped-in noise that we get during the Thunderdome.
I almost guarantee you that even if WWE had real fans there, they still would pump in their own noise.
Yes.
Yeah, I wonder after fans start going back into arena whether they'd start adding some artificial sounds, just because then they can sort of manipulate the story a bit better, you know?
Yeah, I expect they probably will. The Thunderdome, of course, is the Amway Center in Orlando, Florida. And Brett, you weren't here last week, so we don't know. We have no idea what your thoughts are on the Thunderdome. What do you reckon?
The Thunderdome, the giant octopus above the ring. Yeah. There's a lot of LED screens and a lot of lights and a lot of pizzazz to go on around the wrestling, so that I guess you don't have to focus on the wrestling.
Yeah, it is a nice distraction occasionally, isn't it?
Not enough weapons and bungee cords for my liking.
What I really like about the Thunderdome is that it feels less isolating watching wrestling with the Thunderdome. Like when beforehand it was empty, it felt like I was the only person in the whole world watching this wrestling match.
Yeah.
That's true. I definitely feel as if it really does add to it feeling like more of a spectacle. Like it feels like an event, and as I said before, I'm sure that helps for the wrestlers that there are kind of people watching. Although it did cross my mind that, of course, on the whole other side, there's just going to be nothing, right? There's just going to be the hard cam.
I think, like, I would really like to take one of WWE's Thunderdome vids and just kind of like desaturate it and just make it look great, because I reckon it would be quite Orwellian and kind of 1984-esque.
Yes.
Very true. Anyway, it would be great if we could know a little bit more about the behind-the-scenes info when it comes to the Thunderdome. You know, what happens if you do get a ticket. And as we teased just before the break, we do have Correspondence Carl. That's your new nickname, Carl. You're going to have to get in touch every week with something new for us to discuss. But Carl Luckhurst, who has been a listener for a long time now and was a regular, of course, at Riptide, somebody who we have all met, although I bet you don't even remember, do you, Sam?
I do.
That's nice. Carl was part of the SummerSlam crowd, and he sent us a load of info. We said, just tell us all about it. Don't worry about going into loads of detail. And here it is. So, registration is open via www.thunderdome.com 3 to 4 days before each show, but it is incredibly popular. Managed to register and waited for an email. Got an email on the 21st of August, 2 days before SummerSlam, explaining that it didn't mean I was in, but I would get another email. I did get a call time of 9:30 GMT, which was a bit weird as the kickoff didn't start until 11. Anyway, here are the rules that I was given. All registered fans are further selected on a first-come, first-served basis. Please make sure you are camera ready. Remember, you will be appearing on a live show. We reserve the right to remove you from the live stream at any time for any reason. The audience will be refreshed throughout the night, and you may not be included in the entire broadcast. In addition, we may remove you from the live stream for any inappropriate conduct or technical issues. Watch the show through the stream on your device. Position yourself in front of your camera from your midsection up, leaving a little room above your head. Make sure you have good lighting. Only one fan permitted per seat. Just a note, I saw a couple of kids watching Payback. Outrageous. Your attire must be appropriate and must remain on at all times.
I'm out.
Officially licensed WWE clothing is preferred if available. We reserve the right to terminate your participation at our sole discretion if your attire contains any immoral graphics, images or text, any political statements, slogans, logos, graphics, or other commercial identification of third parties other than WWE, its athletes and sponsors.
Who could they possibly be referring to there?
Absolutely no idea. So Carl goes on and says, I then got an email on Sunday at 7 p.m. with a change call time, this time going forward an hour. This email contained an individual link that wasn't to be shared with anyone. I put on my best bright shirt, which didn't turn out to be that visible, and sat waiting for my call time. Being my birthday weekend, this was a perfect end to it. Happy birthday, Carl.
Happy birthday.
It hit 10:30 and boom, he clicked the link. Sorry, the WWE Thunderdome is full. Please try again for the next show. I was not going to be held back. Carl, this is great storytelling. I went against the orders from Mr. McMahon and I clicked the link again and again and again. And after 7 attempts, I was finally in. There was some rocky guitar music and rap beats that played until about 10:55. The pre-show was on at 11. When we heard from R-Truth, Cesaro, Heavy Machinery and Kevin Owens, all at separate times, bigging us up and getting us pumped. Wow. Incredible effort. We weren't allowed to watch the network, but instead the stream on the internet, which didn't go great and was very laggy, but luckily sorted itself out during the show. A backstage producer spoke over the panel before the pre-show match about getting us pumped and ready. As individual wrestlers came out, we were asked to show how we felt, e.g. cheers for the faces and boos for the heels. I spent a lot of the pre-show trying to spot myself. Sorry to Cruz and MVP for that. As the pre-show ended again, we were spoken to by the producer to get pumped and we would be on screen after the fireworks. As the camera panned, the guy in the back kept on at us, telling us to get really excited and make loads of noise and that our microphones were on.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Then he goes on and says, again, as wrestlers entered, we were told to boo or cheer. I wasn't going to boo for Sasha and Bailey, though. And then he rounds things up by saying, it was a great experience, but if I'm honest, I spent more time watching the screens to see if I could spot myself than watching the wrestling. I think it would have been nice to have been shown our position or to know if we were on screen or visible. This might have stopped people looking bored. It's hard to keep pumped up and into it for the whole 4.5 hours. The internet connection wasn't bad and it got a lot better. Hope that helps. Let me know if you need me to go into any more details.
That's
I don't think we do.
amazing review. Very comprehensive.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of, I guess, what we expected, especially all those rules.
But he didn't answer the key question. Was it their own proprietary software or did they license something? Like, was it just a Zoom call?
Saying that, he then sent a picture of him, of his laptop with Thunderdome Stay Tuned and then his little webcam showing. And then he said, it wasn't Zoom, by the way. That's all he said, though.
Well, that's good enough for me.
So yeah, thank you for that correspondence, Carl. That was enlightening.
That was
very
amazing.
Interesting.
That's probably the most factually accurate and comprehensive thing we've ever had in 122 episodes of this podcast.
Yeah, can't complain. I think you're right. Anyway, so that is the venue, the Thunderdome. The attendance, again, up to 1,000 live feeds apparently, and the comms team, Michael Cole and Corey Graves, and Tom Phillips, Byron Saxton, and Samoa Joe. Brett, did you listen to last week's pod? Did you hear our love for Byron Saxton?
I didn't, I'm afraid.
What?
Did you actually have love for Byron Saxton?
Get out.
Right, I'm almost tempted to pause this and sit here whilst Brett listens to the pod. That is disrespectful.
Go back and listen, yeah. Sorry, guys.
Sam, read us the card.
Fine. We had on the pre-show Riot Squad versus the Iconics. Did you watch that, Brett?
I did.
Okay, cool.
Oh, yes.
Yes, pre-show Jones is back. It was nothing special, but it had some nice storytelling with the Iconics trying to mess with Liv Morgan's mind throughout it. So that was interesting. That was it, really.
Cool. Quick update on that. Iconics have been split up.
Yeah, I heard about this briefly before. Why?
So apparently Peyton Royce is going to be recipient of a big old push because she is beautiful. And that's all you need to get a big old push in WWE.
She's crazy ripped at the moment as well, isn't she? She is.
Oh, yeah. She's entering like bodybuilding contests and stuff.
Yeah. Muscles
I would have thought her
muscles.
relationship with Sean Spears would be, would hold her back.
Apparently not. But yeah, so the Iconics have been split up, which is the most devastating tag team breakup since Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty.
I think it's bad. I love those two together. They're so good.
Yeah. But back to the card.
Oh, is that what we're here for? Sorry.
Yeah. So main card, we had Apollo Crews versus Lashley for the US title. That was followed up by Big E versus Sheamus. Baron Corbin, or King Corbin versus Matt Riddle. Questionable. Bailey and Sasha Banks versus Shayna and Nia for the women's tag team titles. Keith Lee versus Randy Orton. The Mysterios, Dominic and Ray versus Seth Rollins and Buddy. Buddy Murphy, not his buddy.
Yeah, Seth and his buddy.
Seth and his little buddy.
It's just called Murphy now, isn't he?
Oh, is he? I keep forgetting. Okay, yep. Mm-hmm. And then main event, The Fiend versus Braun Strowman versus Roman Reigns for a quarter of a match.
Not even that, really.
For the Universal Championship.
Yes, so plenty to talk about as always. But we are just going to focus in on the key matches to start off with. And we've just picked out two. And they're basically the title matches, the ones that we're going to talk about in depth. Although I'm pretty sure there's quite a lot of other matches that we're going to want to speak a lot on. So let's get cracking with these. The first one is going to be the Women's Tag Team Championship match, as Sam said, between the Golden Role Models, to give them their full tag team name, and the Thrown Together, in literally a week's build for this, Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax. John.
Hello.
What did you think?
I love this match, man. Like, obviously, I think Sasha had the best match at SummerSlam, and I think she's had the best match on What pay-per-view is this? Payback. There we go.
what was this?
Yeah. Well, okay. Keep getting confused whether this is Payback or Backlash. Backlash, Payback.
SummerSlam Night 2.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, all the matches they couldn't fit on the card, plus a couple of repeats.
I thought Sasha and Bayley were doing really good, like classic heel tag team stuff. You know, like pulling people off the apron and interfering with stuff.
Yeah.
And they did even I don't like Nia Jax, but I thought she was great in this. Like, there's a bit where she literally threw Sasha to break up a pin and then just
that was so
wailed
nice
on her against the barricade, just slinging her about,
ragdolling her. Yeah.
And then Shayna came in and just fucking cleared house. Like, destroyed everyone. And then the finish with that, like, ankle lock into Kimura and then strangling Sasha with Bayley's own arm. Oh, it's really good. I love this match.
It was very much the Shayna Baszler show for me, this one. Like, it was a really good match. I think all 4 women performed really well, and I think kind of it was very much a vehicle to put Shayna over, and they did a really good job with that, which was great.
I had to fast forward the post-match interview bit because I found it too cringy.
That was weird. It was almost as if they decided right at the end, oh, should we do a little interview? Because neither of them had anything planned.
Yeah, it was very strange, very off the cuff. They didn't seem to expect it at all.
I think we should just clarify that it was actually Baszler used Sasha's arm and Bayley tapped.
Yes.
I think that's quite important for the feud.
Placing another one in a Muta lock.
That was phenomenal. Anyway, go on, Brett.
I did enjoy this match, and I thought it was good. Very enjoyable. I got problems with it though. I've got major problems with the throwing together of this tag team and then giving them the belts. I got major problems with pulling the trigger on ending Bayley's and Sasha's reign so quickly.
So quickly, it's been ages, hasn't it?
I don't know. It doesn't feel like it's been ages,
Brett.
No, but it's maybe it's been ages if you catch up with Raw and SmackDown, but it doesn't feel like they've had, both belts for that long. Maybe 1 or 2 pay-per-views.
You're right, actually. Yeah. Hasn't been ages.
And so, it just felt like there's more to their dominance, which will build up and, give more time to perhaps pull the trigger on this feud between them. And also, I know they want to perhaps build up Shayna, but I don't know, it just doesn't do any good to the women's tag division, this, either. Just, suddenly throwing these 2 together and giving them the belts.
What if you were to rename them Shania Twain?
Shania Twain. Maybe.
Shania Payne.
Oh,
Shania Payne.
Oh, that's
there
we
you
go.
go.
Shania Payne.
Quick, tweet
If
them
they
that.
come out to that, don't impress me much.
Why did you say it in an Italian way?
That don't impress me much.
But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like there was just more room to go with this and to properly plan what happens rather than it seems so on the fly and off the cuff.
I'm not sure I agree with
result.
you, to be honest. They are working hard on the big breakup between Sasha and Bayley, and this just seemed like another part of that storyline. They've used it to obviously kind of try elevate Shayna a little bit as well, and kind of it's good for Nia to actually come back and have a good match because she was under a lot of heat, wasn't she? And
yeah, but I think she's going to continue to be on heat. Yes, this was a good match, but I think that was because Bayley and Sasha were so good in the opening half of this match.
Yeah.
Before it became the Shayna show, it was all Sasha and Bayley doing all the work.
There was that sequence where Sasha did the frog splash whilst Bayley was taking out Shayna, and it was just a really lovely little sequence. They've just they always get the timing right, those two.
Immediate tags, wasn't it? So I think she just tagged out and then tagged herself back in, so Bayley could hit the elbow and then the frog. Yeah, there was really nice bits, and not totally dissing on Nia. I do think she was good in this match, and I loved when she broke up the pin with Sasha, like John pointed out. But I just don't think Nia's going to be great going forward, and it is just going to be about Shayna.
But maybe putting her in a tag team as well can help kind of mask up a few of those issues, whilst at the same time building the kind of the stock behind both Shayna and Nia a little bit, because it seemed to me like they had pretty decent chemistry in the ring. Obviously, they don't have like a plethora of tag team moves and stuff, but they're pretty dominant. They come across as a decent team for me.
They made them look strong, didn't they?
I can't. I mean, we don't really want to talk about Matt Riddle that much, but remember when he was chucked together with Pete Dunne, we were a bit like, I'm not really sure about this, and then they really made the best of it. And I personally really loved the stuff that they did together. I think the backstage stuff that they were doing was quite fun, apart from the bit where, and this always gets to me, the weird warming up that they do, where like Shayna's like shadow boxing and Nia Jax was just like bouncing, and they're like, okay, let's just not talk to each other, but we'll continue warming up right next to each other facing the camera. It's really weird. Anyway,
I guess my bit is I just don't like having a team thrown together and then getting the belt straight away. I think that just really does a disservice to a division.
Brett, you're going to hate the main event of this pay-per-view.
I completely agree with you on a lot of points with the whole kind of team getting thrown together stuff. I've never been a fan of that, but I think kind of the women's tag division is existing in a slightly different area to a main tag division just because it is a lot smaller.
Yeah.
And so kind of they are kind of having to put together teams occasionally for this. And I'm not saying that kind of Shayna and Nia are the right team to kind of win off the golden role models. You know, like there are teams that are established out there that perhaps would have been better for it. But I think kind of to serve the purpose of like Sasha and Bayley's kind of breakup kind of coming up and putting over Shayna Baszler, I think kind of this match does the job for all of that in a good way, because you know, Shayna Baszler was a little bit lost at sea after her debut on the main roster.
Yeah,
she looks incredible. Yeah. Okay. Well, there we go. Shania Payne are the new women's tag team champions, and now we're left with no belts Banks. Particularly enjoyed that.
Can we seriously put a copyright on Shania Payne?
Shania Payne. I just googled it. There appears to be a professional clown called Shania Payne, but she's actually just Shania, and it's not spelt like Shay Nia. So I think we've got this.
Cool. Yeah.
Maybe John, you could set up the Twitter account or something, so we can sell that on. Okay,
I'll see if I can buy the domain later.
Yeah, get the domain, get all that sorted. That'd be good. Let's move on to the next key match, and it is the main event. It is the Universal Championship match between The Fiend and Braun Strowman, and a little bit of Roman Reigns. This is an interesting one, and I think we may have a variety of opinions. I think, Brett, as it's your comeback, you should kick us off on this main event.
And you can guess my opinion on this main event. So
Absolutely loved it.
Confused. I was totally confused and also not excited by this. Like, so a triple threat that's a no holds barred.
No holds barred. As there was a bit where Michael Cole said that 3 or 4 times.
That were particularly, vicious. I don't think there were any holds, were there?
Oh, God, I never realised that's what that meant.
Yeah, same. You just blown my mind a little bit with that.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
So obviously it's essentially another no DQ match, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean the same thing, don't they?
Yeah, which I really wasn't that excited about either. And then there was no Roman Reigns, and I was like, I admit I was working and watching this, and I was just like, and they just kept it, and I was like, where's Roman? I thought this was a triple threat. I'm really confused. And then eventually, it happens and Roman Reigns comes out for the end bit, but I did not enjoy this. Controversial, I missed The Fiend wrestling in his red light and doing a weird match where he takes loads of beatings.
Got the sledgehammer out again though. Come on.
Yeah. Oh man. I mean, yeah.
I thought this was better than the SummerSlam match.
Yeah, my favourite bit of this match was the ref trying to fall out the ring when the ring collapsed.
Yeah, that bit confused me. I think I missed it, and I was like, "Why is there no ref?" When I didn't see him get hit, so is that what happened?
Yeah,
he supposedly fell out.
Flying.
Yeah, he fell out, but he took a while to get over the falling ropes.
It was all very awkward.
Yeah, it was.
So you're saying he didn't fall? He didn't fall as well as Roman did.
No.
because that was brilliant. That was a genuine fall, wasn't it? That was him going for the ropes, forgetting the fact that it's all broken and actually falling out. What did you think, John?
Yeah, I think this was better than the SummerSlam. I especially like the first half of it, with it's just Braun and The Fiend just wailing upon each other. I thought that was pretty cool because it was just like these two massive dudes just knocking lumps. I thought the ring exploding was a bit much.
Oh, come on. It's a spectacle.
Oh, it's a moment. It's another moment.
Yeah. I do find with these moments that quite often, like when I'm watching the matches, and this happened quite a lot last night. I don't know if it was the kind of mood I was in, but I was watching and it was just like, yeah, okay, yeah, no, don't mind that. Quite enjoyed it. But then in time, overnight, and then during today, I've been like, oh, that was quite good, or that bit was good, and it's all the moments that are replaying in my head.
Yeah. The most important thing, I think, and the thing I enjoyed the most is last week I said Roman Reigns was going to win this belt. And you guys gave me pelters.
Did we?
So when that ref counted 1, 2, 3, I was so happy.
Did you punch the air? Did you Superman punch the air?
I was telling my wife, phoned up my family.
You sent me so many texts. I thought this match was all right, actually. I didn't hate it. I think you know what you're going to get out of Braun Strowman and The Fiend at this point. They do the same 4 moves to each other.
Yeah.
And then one of them wins. So I think kind of introducing Roman Reigns to the feud was pretty good. I don't see the point of it being no holds bar, and the ring spot was contrived, I think. Kind of like it was fairly, I don't want to say it was fairly obvious the ring was going to implode, but at the same time it was like, oh, they didn't use the LED ring with all the fancy shit. That's probably because something's about to happen.
Did you actually think that?
So honestly, I didn't think that because I didn't even know. However, I read, whilst browsing Reddit, as I am wont to do, like, there was a big old post of someone predicting the ring's going to fall apart and everyone being like, yeah, that makes sense. And sure enough, he was vindicated. And it's kind of true, actually. If they're using the house show ring rather than the fancy all singing, all dancing LED boards one, they probably are going to do something silly with it.
It was very well done, wasn't it? Like it looked good. It looked really good, and then it was still safe enough to continue on, unless you wanted to lean against some ropes like Roman. But I caught myself thinking, how do they do that? Like how is the ring fine for the whole time, and then that happens at that moment? Have they got little remotes and there's little bits that they're
hornswoggle? I
don't know.
Man.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. But yeah, it was a shock, and it was like a fun surprise for me. I wasn't, when they were going up to the turnbuckle, I wasn't like, oh, here we go, they're going to crash through. It was like a nice surprise. I was like, yeah, okay, it's a nice spectacle. This is a main event of a pay-per-view, and they're doing something, I'm going to say a bit different, because they don't do that all the time. I know it has happened a few times, but I enjoyed it.
It's happened at least twice with Braun, is what I want to say.
Yeah, there's a couple of big show ones, wasn't there, I think?
But it's not often that people get Braun up like that.
Yeah,
like, I respect that happened and that was done. What do we think about Braun's new look? I mean, he hadn't shaved his head. It was a bit fuzzy.
He needs to keep his head bald if he wants to go for a bald look.
Can we even call it a new look?
Yeah, he looks the same.
Yeah.
Well, he's wrestling topless. He didn't used to do that.
Well, he was he topless? Off, though, didn't he? He used to always get too sweaty and like take his top off.
I don't even recall if he was. I guess he was because you're saying he was, but...
Well, do you know why I know? It's because I also made a note on the fact that he hadn't fully shaved his chest either. I was keeping a close watch on Braun's, the length of Braun's hair.
No, he seems to shave his chest hair into pecs, right? To try and emphasise it a little bit.
How dare you?
Which is
the man's been working extremely hard.
I did notice on the vignette beforehand when they were showing him on SmackDown, he looked like he had been wrestling in like Matt and Jeff Hardy's old gear from the early 90s.
Yeah, he had a weird jacket on the other day, that's for sure.
I got a question.
Go on.
So is Paul Heyman like Roman's guy now?
Yeah.
Looks
he's
like
his
it.
manager.
Okay, so why don't they let him talk instead of Roman talking? Because in the little vignettes and stuff, Roman kept on talking, and I was like, if you've got Paul Heyman there, then let him do the talking.
Roman talks quite well,
Roman
I think.
Talking.
Oh, well, come on. Paul Heyman's better, though.
Well,
He's better than Brock Lesnar.
You know, I bet Roman's better at fighting than Paul is.
Sam,
Yeah.
I think we need to pull this back because
Yeah, I'm not having it. I'm liking. I like
No.
this match. Oh wait, hold on. We're going to do a united front against Brett and his hatred of Roman Reigns here, right?
No, believe it or not, I was pulling it back to have a dig at John.
Oh,
Why are we having a dig at
Okay,
me?
yeah,
I thought
yeah,
we were
let's
doing
have a
Brett.
dig at John. Leave me alone.
John's like, remember last week when I said that Roman was going to come in and win the title? And look who was right. Well, also remember last week, John, when you said that Roman Reigns is not going to be a heel.
Yeah, I did. I think is he for the
turned
heel? Is he for
He
the
turned
heel?
up 2/3 through the match.
So
signed the
he's
contract.
tardy. Does tardiness make you a heel? I don't think so.
He kicked someone in the nuts, but
Brilliant.
that person he kicked in the nuts is a bad guy, but also a beloved children's entertainer, and so it's a bit of a grey area at this point.
I think. I mean, okay, he's not like full blown bad man, but
Yeah.
he's definitely got the heel tendencies
I'm
there.
liking this iteration of Roman Reigns at the moment.
Me too.
Me too. Yeah, I'm all in. Looks good. Exciting.
Yeah. I like this match, and I thought it was a match of two halves, or maybe first 2/3 and the final third. But I think the Braun stuff with the Fiend when they went through the table, that was all fine and fair enough. I kind of expected Roman to run out then and do a Superman punch to one of them when they're on the ramp, but as I said, the end was a bit of a spectacle, and I really liked Heyman's involvement, and he did what it said on the T-shirt. He wrecked everyone, and he left with the belt.
I don't think we've seen a Superman punch since he's come back. It's just been spears.
No.
Wow, you're right.
That's interesting, actually, because he absolutely beat the shit out of Braun with a chair, and then he got a 2 count, but then the spear got the 3 count. Does that mean the spear is technically stronger than a bunch of hits with a chair?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, but those chair shots were proper, weren't they? After
Yeah.
complaining about them last week, Sam,
Yeah,
they were
I complained and
bloody
he
good.
corrected it, so I'm glad he took my feedback.
Yeah, but this is interesting. No Superman punch, and that is very much a move that was sort of targeted at the kids. You know,
if he's a heel, he can't be Superman, can he?
No.
very true.
Lex Luthor punch.
Yeah.
God, we've blown this wide open, boys.
You know what, actually, on the subject of Superman and Lex Luthor, this whole thing with like the way the title has kind of gone all full circle back to Roman Reigns, it's very comic book kind of. We've set up all these millions of universes, and then we're all just going to compress it back down to one and start again.
Yeah, hard
And-
reset.
Yeah, basically the Roman Reigns title
New 52.
saga. Yeah, is that.
What happens after with is that it for the Fiend and Braun
I
in
hope
the
so.
title?
I think
Well, I
there-
hope so. What? Do you just hope they're just gone now?
I think there's better people that Roman can feud with than Braun and the Fiend at this point. That I'd be more
Give me
interested-
three. Give me three off the top of your head.
SmackDown.
Yeah.
Can I have a look at the SmackDown roster?
Does it matter?
That's not off
Don't
the
they
top of your
cross
head.
all the time now anyway?
Yeah, that's true.
AJ Styles.
Cesaro.
AJ Styles. Daniel Bryan. AJ Styles.
AJ Styles.
Drew Gulak. AJ Styles. Curtis Axel. There's a lot of people.
Big E.
Big E is getting that singles push, isn't he?
Push. Yeah, why not?
Yeah. I was going to say it's not going to be Drew Gulak because he got squashed.
Braun, wasn't it?
Was it Braun? Oh God, somebody, and it was ugly. It was ugly to see. Anyway, okay, so yeah, we're in the position where we have a new champ. It is Roman Reigns, but it's exciting and it's different. And Paul Heyman is back, and it's very weird to see them together, but it is very intriguing and exciting. Of course, Paul Heyman's ex-client is somebody who we're going to talk about later in the Five Forever segment. So stay tuned for that. Should we talk about Best of the Rest?
Let's do it.
So Best of the Rest is where we pick out any of the other matches or just moments of things that happened that we particularly enjoyed. And Sam is going to go first.
Yeah, let's chat about Keith Lee, Randy Orton.
Oh, yes.
What a huge surprise this was.
Are we
to me.
saying 2 good Randy Orton matches in a row?
He's probably
he's on
the
a good run.
best, the top guy in the company at the moment, Randy Orton, right?
He's doing the boss's bidding. Brett, is this why you keep skipping the pods?
I think he's having the best matches, the best feuds, the best promos.
And he's the number 1 contender again, but we can come back to that in a bit.
I think he's knocking it out of the park. I'm Team Randy.
Do you know
You
what?
always have been.
You're just horny for him.
I do like his tattoo sleeves. The skulls.
Like so much bigger than you think, isn't he? When you saw him square off against Keith Lee, thinking Keith Lee's like this behemoth, and I was like, oh my god, Keith Lee doesn't look that big.
The
It's
thing
the compression vest.
with Randy Orton, which keeps throwing me with him, is that kind of obviously he portrays himself as the company man and kind of anti-indie wrestling, and WWE is everything and stuff. But he does keep putting on these decent matches with kind of indie darling wrestlers who are coming to WWE, and he's jobbing to them and stuff. It's kind of I think all of that actually belies his kind of his personality of him being like Mr. Anti-indie wrestling. I actually reckon wrestlers fucking love him. Like they always seem to be kind of in backwards and forwards feuds with him on Twitter, and even the guys from AEW and stuff. And I wonder how much of it is real and how much of it is basically, oh yeah, Orton's actually just mates with these guys.
Yeah, I think some of it, especially from Orton, is tongue in cheek. I think he's not that anti-indie guy or whatever. I just think it's just put on him because he's been Mr. WWE from the start, second generation guy.
He's I think he's motivated again, isn't he? I think with a career as long as his has been, there's going to be long periods or periods where you're not necessarily going to be as motivated. Who knows why? I know some reasons we do get to find out, but others you don't necessarily. Can't always be on your A game, but yeah, it's good to see. But were you guys? Did you have the same opinion when the package before was basically all about Randy versus Drew? Were you just expecting? I mean, even though we know Drew has got the injury, were you kind of just expecting this to all go to shit and it to be made about Drew versus Randy still?
Yeah, I definitely expected a Drew run-in at some point or interference and the match to finish with a DQ.
I wasn't. I was expecting a Keith Lee going over. I don't think there's any reason for them to put this match together.
Sam,
that.
Were you expecting that, or did you read something on Reddit about it?
I was expecting
In
that.
hindsight, I was expecting Keith Lee to win.
You asked me to do a podcast on wrestling, and then when I give an opinion, you call bullshit on it.
Well, it's because you keep saying that you predicted stuff. I mean, I don't want you to come out looking clever. Even though we should want every participant on this to look like they know what they're talking about. So yeah, keep going.
Sam is the smartest on wrestling when it comes to all of us.
It's a sorry state of affairs when Sam's the smartest in the room.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, wow.
Wow.
Oof.
Come
Got your
on, I
dicks
don't
in,
mean
Adam?
any of it. I don't mean any of it.
That's fine.
It's my kendo stick.
Heel turn.
I love crying myself to sleep.
Face turn for Sam and a heel turn for Adam.
Sam can never be a face. Come on.
What do we think about Keith Lee's new shorts? Improvement, yeah?
Better.
Yeah, they're getting there.
Although when he came out of his entrance, didn't like the hoodie jacket thing or that weird wraparound tinsel skirt thing.
Yeah, what's he got like a Hawaiian lady skirt, grass skirt on for?
Also, I think Ricochet was probably pissed off. It's like, is that my entrance?
I was really annoyed that we got the tease of his old music and then it cuts to this shit metal music, which is just nondescript. And when he was standing on the ring apron and he was doing that thing, he takes his hood off and he puts one fist in the air and one thumb towards his head. You're thinking this should be a lovely moment with some amazing music playing, and you just get this crappy, awful, copyright free metal that he's just downloaded. Well, not he, but somebody's downloaded from the internet. Hated it.
No, I mean, the metal, the entrance and the ring gear is annoying, but I don't think that's in his control. What is in his control was the match, and I think it was a really good match.
Yeah, it was solid.
It
Absolutely massive spirit bomb at the end. Like, huge.
What about the chops? The early chops when
Randy
yeah.
chop. Oh my god.
the sound of those, but then you kind of knew that those double chops were coming, having seen them so much in NXT, or the Grizzly Magnum, as apparently he has labelled it, which is quite a fun name. But
Again,
wow,
taken from anime. That
really okay. What's the backstory?
it's just a move in One Piece. Like, anime, the main characters, they all have super moves and all that. Grizzly Magnum, Big Bang Splash, Salt, Spirit Bomb. They're all from anime and manga.
Oh
There
my
you
god,
go.
you must love Keith Lee so much.
I'm a big fan. Yeah.
I I am most upset. I know we've moved on from his gear, but we don't get to bask in his glory and his magnificence. Why have they put a top on him?
Yeah, I don't know. I think
It's
it
not
ruins
needed. It's not
well, it
needed,
doesn't
is
ruin
it?
it. But it's
No.
definitely not needed. It's part of his thing, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
so big, so big.
Exactly. And like, he is so big, but he still has abs there.
Yeah,
Like, that's what
Yeah.
just blows my mind.
I think if you're going to cover him up, then don't go so obvious that you're covering him up by literally covering him all up. Like, even just go for a singlet or something. I don't know, something. Because you think about how big he looks, or you think about even Mark Henry. He's showing some flesh.
yeah.
I want to see some more flesh.
It's part of the joys of wrestling is that any shape or
Seeing
size
flesh.
really, and the flesh, obviously the flesh.
And that's always been like an extra thing about Keith Lee is just like the stuff he does, but you get to see the pure size of the man.
Yeah.
Like someone that sort of big and built flies over the top rope, and it's just like you sort of take some of that spectacle away.
Yeah, it's annoying. It's just main roster nonsense, and hopefully, there's been a lot of outcry about it. Hopefully they will eventually change it, or people will kind of get over it. But yeah, I mean, he's putting on good matches, so
He is.
happy with that.
I mean, it was such a surprise and such just a huge relief, because it means that they are going to go behind him. We were so worried about what happened on his debut on Raw. It's just a pleasure to know that actually it looks like they are pushing him. I mean, if they give him a win against Randy, somebody who throughout the start of the match was going, I'm Randy Orton, I'm the legend killer,
Yeah.
to then for him to lose.
Yeah.
And he's a number one contender and he lost. That is
Yeah.
pretty massive.
Well, he became number one contender after
Yes.
this on Raw, but
yeah, it's just amazing.
A huge debut. Huge.
Yes. John, have you got any other best of the rests for us?
Oh, I was hoping I don't really. I think all the other matches were decent.
Go to Brett. Anything from you,
Yeah,
Brett?
go Brett.
So this is where I'm going to find out whether I'm on Team John from last
Oh,
pod or
by the
not.
sounds of it, Brett, you're not.
I enjoyed the Mysterios
Yeah.
versus Seth and his buddy. I thought
Me
that was
too.
a really good match, and I'm sort of really impressed with how comfortable Dominic, crap name, sorry Dominic.
Jesus.
Well, it's just like
his
he's
name?
Rey Mysterio's kid, and he's like Dominic Mysterio.
How do you
just
feel
doesn't
about Dominik Dijakovic?
flow? Well, that's
Well,
like
that flows.
DD though, doesn't it? It flows. But
Okay.
but his
I
sort
agree
of
with you here. I agree with you.
composure and comfortableness already. Like I was sort of expecting him to be like Sammy Guevara straight off the bat, which perhaps was a little unfair. But
He's got charisma.
second match, and gets a win. He gets to tag with his dad, and he's has some really good moves going on. And he lost that stupid hood,
Yeah, that was a good shout.
which was amazing because that was just ridiculous.
Yeah, I really. This was my joint match of the night with the
Yeah,
main event. believe
Match
it or not.
of the night.
Yeah,
John.
it was great fun.
I'm going to join your crowd a little bit here, where I don't think... Would Dominic Mysterio be on that card if he was Rey Mysterio? If he wasn't Rey Mysterio's son, from a
Absolutely
wrestling
not.
perspective, does he have the ability to hang with Murphy, Seth Rollins, Rey Mysterio?
I thought so. He's got more. He's got more chance of hanging them with them than Baron Corbin does.
Oh, brutal.
Oh,
I have to say, I
he
thought
does,
this match
though.
was all right. Actually, this match, like they hid his sort of noobness, his inexperience, his inexperience really well. And like when Rey Mysterio got tagged in, it was just so sweet to see that man work.
Oh my god, they could be the same age. The way they move around the ring,
unbelievable. He's
Yeah.
45 years old.
Is he really?
it's crazy.
That's
So good.
so mad. Like a 30-year career, and he's still doing moves like that.
I would say that obviously in this feud, Rey Mysterio's lost an eye. Dominic's been beaten to a pulp by kendo sticks.
Oh, and boy, did he get beaten!
Boy, did he get beaten! And all the payback they get is to win a tag match and not even pin Seth Rollins, pin Buddy Murphy.
Yeah, it's fair point.
Lousy.
Well,
Yeah.
Rey Mysterio is injured now for a couple of months at least, so maybe this is Dominic's time to shine.
Yeah, he what's happened? He's torn his triceps.
That's right, yeah.
Oof.
Yeah, the match was decent though.
Yeah,
There's loads of good stuff.
It was a good match. It was.
There was loads of good stuff in this. I think, right at the start, we had a hot start from Dominic. He tried to do that 619. Did you notice Murphy was holding him back? And he was like, Murphy, you're holding me on the wrong side. I'm doing my 619 from the other side. And then they shifted and he did that. I thought there was some really, really cool bits with the old slides. I like the fact that obviously the match finished with the double team with the surfboard thing and the 619. But earlier on in the match, you had Rollins sliding Ray out onto the knees of Murphy. I like that.
Yeah, that's cool.
I think all four of them are talented. Obviously, I'm not saying Dominic is on their level, but I don't think he looks out of place at all, apart from the fact that he has shit facials and no charisma. I think he's got the talent.
So I think kind of the thing for me is just like, you think Cody Rhodes or Randy Orton, neither of those guys are basically like, Cody Rhodes isn't going out there giving the bionic elbow and being like, cool, I'm just doing that. He's got his own kind of moveset, his own persona, his own ability, and that's kind of what I'm hoping will develop from Dominic. I'm not interested in seeing Dominic do a 619. I want to see him kind of like developing his own style.
That's just playing to the fans a bit, though, isn't it? Like, it's the father-son team up.
Sure.
When do you see that sort of in a match?
That's true, yeah.
And so he's going to play to some of those favourites, to show, it's got to be a passing of the torch, isn't it, really? And maybe Dominic ends up with a mask once Ray's,
out. Passes on his mask.
Yeah, like, it's got to happen.
Okay, you sold me on that.
Cool. That is going to happen, and that is a great idea. I love that. Yes, Brett. Amazing. Okay, do I have any other best of the rest? I don't think so. I think we pretty much covered it. I kind of think all the other matches kind of sort of, again, it was similar to SummerSlam in a way. They were kind of okay. I don't think anything was terrible.
Yeah.
Which means for
Very
worst of the
as
rest,
well, weren't they?
yeah, we're going to go on to worst of the rest. I can't really, there's not much to say, although saying that, we do have a problematic thing that we could kind of touch upon. And obviously the worst wrestler of all time, according to Brett, needs to be discussed. So should we kick off with that? I'll start with that. We are indeed talking about King Corbin versus Matt Riddle. Somebody who we all have absolutely loved watching on the Indies and on NXT, and we're delighted that he got his chance on the main roster. And it's just weird now. It's just really weird. Especially because they referenced
Oh my god, this was
going
awful.
on.
Yeah.
Oh, this is easily the worst. Oh, this was so bad when they referenced.
Yeah,
his home
in fact,
life. Oh.
I say there wasn't much worse of the rest, but yeah, that particular moment where we heard about the tweet that King Corbin put out, the face that you just feel like Matt Riddle should refuse. He should be like, no, I'm not going to cover that. I don't want to. It's been difficult enough for all involved, my family, the victim, or, as if he actually used that phrase, but this should not be a thing. But no, it's happened, and it's so WWE, and it's so distasteful, and it just really sullied the whole thing.
It really did.
Massively.
Yeah.
Brett, do you want to talk about that match though? And
I think my response was like, fucking 2020, it's got me rooting for Baron Corbin. I mean,
He was good in that match, though. I thought he was pretty good.
I don't want to see, nothing to Baron Corbin now. Like, I don't want to see this match happening.
what about he did his Corbin slide, and then he got booted in the head? Could you take any joy in that?
No, I couldn't. I really couldn't. It's just, I think this is what is turning off loads of fans with wrestling at the moment, is that, like, all this shit happened, and these people are just going to carry on regardless, and that's just the biggest kick in the teeth.
I almost feel like the less said about Matt Riddle at the moment, the better. Just don't really want to discuss him. He's everything that's happened around him, and that whole side of things is just not pleasant listening. It's not great to talk about. It's awful, really
rough. I've got some to cheer us up a little bit, a bit of a lighter thing.
Yeah,
for it.
I honestly think the Deep Six is the best move in WWE at the moment.
Oh, it's very good.
It's such a fast, dynamic, cool-looking move.
Yeah.
Do you feel cheered up, Brett?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I don't dislike it. I wouldn't say it's the best, although I'm
Name a better.
Name
a
I
better.
can't think of any moves at the moment.
Blue Thunder Bomb.
Come on, Sam. Have you got a worst of the rest for us?
No, I'm going to take it back to best of the rest because I want us to be on a
What?
really... Yeah, that's right.
Messing with the format. Can't believe
Exactly.
this.
Yeah, let's talk about Adam Pearce, producer Adam Pearce, going around getting signatures from people and just doing backstage role stuff. I like it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, technically that's didn't happen at the event, but it was shown at the event, so we'll allow it.
All kinds of chaos. Good for him.
I had another worst of the rest. Those weird photo stills at the end of the Lashley Cruz match, just because there was a photographer
I made a note
there.
of that. Yeah, what was that about?
That was it was like so dated and weird, and all the stills, because they were obviously doing it live, they were all like shit photos, like with Lashley with his eyes closed and blurry. And
What was the
really
point?
weird.
They didn't do it in the other matches.
Yeah. I mean, that's obviously like MVP's thing, isn't it? Like kind of celebrity living and all of that. That used to be his gimmick.
It's just shit.
But like on the subject of worst of the rest, Apollo Crews attacking them all afterwards. That was a clean loss.
I don't mind that. I can add a little dimension to his character.
Yeah, temper tantrum. I mean,
I guess.
I thought that
Yeah.
match was pretty good, actually. I enjoyed. It's probably one of the Lashley matches I've enjoyed the most.
I like Apollo, and I'm pleased that he's getting his moment. And I think it's a shame he lost the belt, but it looks as if there'll now be a fight for him to eventually get it back and to get a bit of a bigger push and more over with the fans.
I like the Hurt Business.
Yeah, I think MVP's doing a great job. Yeah.
I've always liked MVP. I love Shelton Benjamin.
yeah, I'd enjoy if they pushed Benjamin a little bit more in that
Yeah.
squad, though.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I'd be up for that.
Yeah.
After that match, we had that weird promo with JBL and Keith Lee and the whole hedge funds thing.
Oh yeah, what was that all about?
Really weird.
I thought that was really distasteful, actually. It felt like they were almost deliberately undermining him a little bit, saying he's not like a big
Yeah.
star.
I mean, I would assume the reason they did that was just because they're both from Texas. I don't know. That's all I got.
Weird.
They're both from Texas.
It's always a bit jarring when JBL turns up on TV again, though, isn't he? Like, oh, God, JBL.
He is looking old.
He is, isn't he? Yeah.
He is. Okay, I've just realised that we are still on worst of the rest, but as Sam has already completely crushed the format, I think probably we should do another best of the rest because we need to talk about Big E. This man is clearly getting a push, and he's going to be champ. And I
Gonna be
feel, I reckon he
He's
will
called
be.
it.
I feel quite conflicted
What
about
champ?
it because I want it to happen. He deserves it. He's good enough, but I want it to happen in front of fans.
I think it
I
needs
don't
to
want it to
happen.
happen
I don't think it will
Yeah.
work or happen without fans in the arenas to cheer him on. I just don't. I think they'll pull out of it before he gets the
But they're
belt.
going for it. Like everything that he's
Beating
doing. in fact-
Sheamus is not going for a push.
No, but his attitude afterwards and the fact that he's
Yeah.
getting this run of wins and he's getting it over arguably, better competitors each time. And, the fact that they're really referencing that he's getting his singles push now. Even the comms were saying that. It's going to happen.
I'm not a fan of this so far. It feels quite artificial in the wake of what happened with Kofi.
What happened? I've missed out. What happened with Kofi?
He won the championship at WrestleMania.
Oh, I thought you meant as in like he was injured or something.
Well, I mean, he is, but no, there's no specific thing about.
I thought
around
there
that
was an
injury.
incident that I'd missed.
I know what you mean, Sam. It might be a bit too soon. I think it'd be nice for it to happen. I say too soon. Like obviously, that win was over a year ago, but
Sure.
yeah.
I
But
don't
there's
know.
no doubt
We'll
he
see what
deserves it.
happens.
Oh yeah, I'd love to see the belt on it. It'd be amazing.
Yeah, he's so stacked as well. He rarely unpeels his singlet, but this is turning into some sort of erotic fan fiction, the way I've just started describing that, so we're going to move on quickly. We've done best for the rest. We've pretty much done worst of the rest. Are we okay to move on to star performer, or have you guys got any other
Yeah,
points?
let's do it.
Okay, then. Star performer is where we pick out our MVP, but it cannot be MVP. Okay, maybe that
Could
should
be.
be a rule.
It could be.
I think that maybe that should be a rule. John, who are you going to go for then? Who is your star performer from Payback
it's
2020?
got to be Keith Lee, hasn't it? Really.
Are we going to have a full house? Brett, you going to go for Keith Lee too?
Yeah, I'll go for Keith Lee.
Ooh,
I
halfway
love
there.
Keith Lee.
Sam?
No, I'm going to go for Rey Mysterio.
Ray.
Unbelievable. I'm going to go for Keith Lee. 75% of the way there, Keith. You're definitely our winner.
Change your music, change your ring gear, and then we'll see.
Yeah.
Okay, time for the rank. The overall rank. We're going to give the pay-per-view a score out of 10, work out the average. I'm going to kick things off. As I sort of said, decent at times, but nothing spectacular. No hugely memorable matches. Although I will remember that ring breaking. We're going to need some higher level stuff soon, I think. We're going to need some spectacular matches. I don't know if that's possible with no crowd, but anyway, 6.5.
6.5. You rate it worse than SummerSlam.
Yeah, I think I did prefer SummerSlam overall.
Oh, really? Oh. I actually preferred this, and I think I gave SummerSlam 6, so I'm going to give this 6.5.
There we go.
Cool.
Sorry.
Fine, Adam.
Brett?
Well, I'm not going to rock the boat. I'm going to go 6.5.
And if there's somebody who we know who loves to rock a boat, it's going to be Sam.
Hey, I'm going to say it was better than SummerSlam.
Yeah.
5.5.
Ooh. What's the average? And how does it compare?
0.25 better than SummerSlam, which feels like it's where it should be.
Okay. All right. Well, a 6.25 pay-per-view. We always say on this, it's fun to talk about awful stuff and it's fun to talk about incredible stuff. It's when we get that kind of middle of the road wrestling.
It's tough.
We kind of struggle with.
Fascinatingly enough, looking over 2020's scores so far, 2020 starts so strong. We started with 2 9s back to back, and it's kind of just trended downwards.
That's 2020 for you.
What were those 2 9s though? Were they like Wrestle Kingdom or something?
Wrestle Kingdom and Takeover Blackpool 2.
Yeah. I don't know if I just every time I watch these WWE pay-per-views now, I don't know if they've got a great match in them. Just because of their own structure, their own match
don't
structure.
say that. Don't dash all our hopes.
Yeah.
I was watching this one and I was like, I don't know if we're going to get that.
Oh, we definitely will. They've got the talent. They know how to do it.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's have a break and let's see if our listeners had differing opinions. You know, they might have absolutely loved it. Find out after this.
Now they're on the ring apron.
This is a dangerous spot in the ring, Morrow. The hardest part of the ring, nothing but steel underneath their feet.
So, do you want to find out what listeners thought?
That's exactly what I want.
Yeah,
Yes,
great.
please.
Thanks, guys. Okay, loserweight. Highlight was the finish to the women's tag match, which deserved a bigger spotlight than this pay-per-view, and Nia's post-match celebration. Oh, I disagree with that. I thought that was awful.
I quite enjoyed her doing
I
a weird
enjoyed
thing to
it.
the camera, but it was just weird. Like
It was very
totally
odd.
unplanned.
Oh,
Yeah.
so cringy. Low light was the sinking feeling you get when you realise a Baron Corbin feud is going to continue.
I know. There was a lot of that in this pay-per-view. Like feuds just going to carry on. I know that Sam, you always say, you know, about pay-per-views. Well, the big pay-per-view should be an end point, but this is obviously not a big pay-per-view, and we've got a lot of this. That
Well, the same thing happened at SummerSlam. Nothing really ended, did it? All the feuds just carried on.
That was very much my criticism of SummerSlam.
Yeah. Lauren C., the ref. She's the ref at Riptide, which is cool.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, the finish to the women's tag match was ace and definitely a highlight. Really inventive. Wasn't bothered by the Riddle versus Corbin at all, so that was my low light.
There's 2 exactly the same answers so far. Pretty agreeing with us as well.
WrestlePlug says, it's about time people realise how good Shayna Baszler is. She was the MVP of this show and killed it again in the women's tag.
WrestlePlug is completely right. I'm changing my star performer to Shayna.
She was only in it for like I feel like a second. Probably longer than a second. A couple of minutes.
That was such a great end. I'll remember that. I will remember that.
Good match. As for low light, it's the US title. Apollo Crews has the head and charisma of a half-chewed Malteser, and I have never cared less about a title. That
is amazing.
seems harsh. I like Apollo. Like, he's so likable.
Talking of
he's got a great smile.
heads in that match. Bobby Lashley, I didn't realise that he had tattooed eyebrows.
Yeah, he's got alopecia.
Does
He's
he?
got no eyebrows.
Yeah,
really?
which make and then I was looking online, and that makes sense. That's why he used to wear the headband to stop the sweat going in his eyes, because he's got no eyebrows.
Oh.
But obviously Vince screamed at him that it looks stupid, so now he's no sweatband and all the sweat pours in his eyes.
Vince screamed
Yeah.
at him it looks stupid, so he got tattoos permanently tattooed onto his face.
And then that guy from Street Profits, Dawkins, came along and was like, "Oh, I'll take that sweatband. You've already got one." And you're like, "Oh, okay, fine."
Anyway, finally, Tom says the finish to the women's tag title match was class. Shayna is class. Riddle being on the card is the ultimate lowlight.
It's the first time we've had
Agreement
I
all
think
round.
it's like 3 of those fully agree with us pretty much in terms of we all really enjoyed the end of the women's tag match, and we all did not enjoy Riddle and Corbin. So that's nice. It's nice to be agreed with every so often. Cool.
Like-minded
Thank you.
listeners.
Thanks, John, and thank you, listeners. That is all we have time for. It sounds like some sort of TV program. We've got time for anything. We're not doing anything, are we? We could keep going forever. So, that's a complete lie. We just don't want to talk about Payback anymore. But what we do want to do is bring back a segment we haven't had for a while. And remember, guys, we do the little Sting sort of jingle live.
Oh god!
Yeah, boys.
It is
I hate this bloody segment.
5 forever.
I'm going to count us in, guys. 3, 2, 1, go.
5 for
Forever.
5
forever.
5.
Lovely. I actually elected not to do it this time and just leave you guys to it. And I think you did a great job. Number 1 on 5 Forever. Renee Young has left WWE.
Oh,
Good
I watched
for her.
a very nice video of everyone in WWE saying goodbye to. Not everyone, but a lot of people saying goodbye to her. It's very nice.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, an absolute legend of WWE, I would say. The first woman commentator. And she's been bloody brilliant. An absolute servant for the company.
Yeah,
We all remember her audition, of course, from the last quiz
yeah.
that featured. But yeah, what do we think she's going to go on to do? Because a lot of people are obviously thinking she's probably destined for like proper sports coverage. Because
Yeah.
she's such a
She's
good
doing cookery
presenter.
books, so I'm told,
Right, okay.
by my other half, who loves Renee Young as well and follows her, and she's just written a cookery book.
Yeah, I mean, she's certainly got the ability to go on to do whatever she wants in presenting. She's, got the skill. I wouldn't be surprised if we see her at AEW at some point.
AEW need to calm down with just hoovering up all WWE people.
They need to calm down.
I really think
they're
that.
not like, don't need to do the WCW thing, do they?
We were going to review All Out next week, but they need to calm down. So have a timeout, AEW.
Yeah, I'm afraid that pay-per-view's not happening now because I said they need to calm down.
On the subject of AEW, number 2, Mr. Brody Lee defeats Cody for the TNT title.
Wow.
Now, a lot of listeners will know that this obviously happened a little while ago, but we haven't spoken about AEW, so this is nice to have a little catch-up. Yeah, what do you think, Sam?
Yeah, did you guys see the match?
I've not.
I did not.
I'm a little bit behind.
Okay, it was more or less a squash, really.
Really?
Wow. Yeah.
I haven't really enjoyed Brody Lee's matches in AEW so much
It's worth checking this one out. I think
as to date. So I was a bit seeing that. I was like, oh really?
I can see where you're coming from, but
I disagree.
But I disagree. But you're wrong.
I'm really enjoying a lot of what he's doing at the moment. I think kind of especially the stuff they're doing with the Dark Order on being the Elite is really good.
Yeah.
So
I'm enjoying the backstage segments and the little vignettes and stuff. I'm enjoying that. It's just the in-ring stuff I've not been enjoying.
fair enough. Number 3, Mauro Ranallo, gone.
I can't believe this. This can't be true. I haven't watched NXT in a while, though.
Do we have any idea of the full story there? Why he's gone?
He's basically leaving WWE to kind of focus on mental health charities and looking after his mum, and I think he's just a bit kind of done with WWE, to be honest.
A company that wasn't going to change their, their way of being.
Yeah,
I was worried when I saw this. I was like, when he was away for so long, I was just thinking, I hope he sounds like with the struggles that he's had, and it's amazing that he's been so open with them. but he sounds like the kind of guy who may have really struggled in this
COVID
quarantine
world,
period,
yeah.
and would have maybe been really worried about going back to work. And I just hope he's okay, really.
Yeah, same. I mean, Mauro Ranallo is, for my money, the best commentator in the world, and I hope to see him back in wrestling in some capacity soon.
Fully agree.
Get him on New Japan. It'd be great on New Japan.
Oh, yeah.
Mate.
Whatever he ends up doing, wish him the best with that. Number 4, Brock Lesnar, allegedly gone.
Free agent.
Yeah.
Right?
Shame.
Free agent.
WWE.com have taken down all his merchandise.
Have they?
Yeah.
Wow.
So
I'm okay. I'm okay with it. I think he'd done pretty much everything that he could do at WWE. I don't want him to go to AEW. I was speaking to a friend about this before, and he was like,
going.
"But it's Brock Lesnar. It's Brock Lesnar.
He's not going. He'll be back.
Yeah, it definitely will be back. Probably not.
What? So you don't think? I mean, I don't necessarily think he will go to AEW, but you don't think if the check was large enough?
I think if the check was large enough, he'd definitely go. But I don't think AEW would be able to afford him, to be honest.
no, I don't think they'd be able to afford him. If they did, though, I'd love to see Brock Lesnar, Brian Cage.
Oh,
Yeah.
Also,
I saw
you
a
kind
few
of think
things
he'd
suggesting-
just be an absolute dickhead to work with in AEW, don't you? Like,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
he's not going to put anyone over.
Who knows? It would be fascinating to see, but I think WWE are quite secure in the fact that they don't think he will be going to any other wrestling promotions. Number 5, you may have noticed the lack of info about about New Japan Pro Wrestling Summer Struggle. That's because number 5 is Summer Struggle. A few results from that.
Okay,
Go for it.
Did you watched it? Did you?
I did. I watched it over the weekend. It was okay. Wasn't amazing, but Minoru Suzuki versus Shingo Takagi, defeating him for the never openweight title. Probably match of the night.
Yeah, that sounds.
Yeah, that was
hitting.
really good. And that was like, unlike the Fiend and Braun, this really was taking lumps out of each other.
Did they break the ring though?
No.
They broke the bodies in the ring. Yeah,
Like a Gotch power driver just destroys the ring.
yeah. I mean, every young lion celebrated because they didn't get a hiding at the end of the match because Suzuki was victorious. Taiji Shimori takes the junior heavyweight title off Hiromu Takahashi.
Boo.
Shame. Another good match though. Really good. I'm going to do these two out of order just because I really want to. Main event, Naito defeating Evil, taking back the IC and IWGP heavyweight title.
It's weird.
Thank goodness.
Flipped it back so quickly.
Very unusual for New Japan doing a title flip-flop like that. My favourite moment of the night, Toru Yano becomes the first king of pro wrestling after pinning Okada in a very unusual fatal 4-way.
That blows my mind, that sentence.
It's very odd, but... So, did you guys follow any of the King of Pro Wrestling tournament that they did leading up to this?
No.
Okay.
Afraid not.
So this was Okada's brainchild, right? And the whole thing was that before each match in the tournament, each wrestler could specify a gimmick for the match. So, for example, some of them were, you can't use your finisher, or Toru Yano, one of his ones was, it's the first to 2 count rather than a 3 count thing, which is incredible. There were submission matches. It was a decent tournament, but it culminates in a fatal 4-way. Yano, with the low blow on Okada, gets the roll up and the win, wins the trophy, and now he gets to defend that trophy in matches where he gets to specify the gimmick.
Amazing.
Which is fantastic for one of my favourite wrestlers in the world.
Yeah, that's going to be so much fun.
So, yeah, that was Summer Struggle. It was good. It was, better than Payback.
I find that hard to believe.
I've made the grave error of trying to have a little snack.
Adam, spit out that Mars bar. It's time for a t-shirt giveaway.
Oh, thank you. Big mistake. Sorry, I love Five Forever, but I just thought this was the perfect time to have a little biscuit. And it was very enjoyable. T-shirt giveaway. Last week on the SummerSlam podcast, we told you that we have a lovely T-shirt to give away. We asked people to retweet our episode tweet. We had a lot of people do it, and I've entered all of their names into the random thing generator online, and all I need to do is click a button, which I'm going to do, and it will select one of you wonderful people. Here we go. Should we have a little drum roll, or without banging your mics? Sounds a bit weird.
Doesn't sound like you're banging a drum there, guys.
It is Chris Lappin, BBG Chris Lappin, which that's great actually, because I'm pretty sure Chris has entered every single competition we've ever had and has never won anything. So that's cool. Congratulations, Chris. We will get that t-shirt sent out to you if you drop us a DM on Twitter with your address. We'll send that out. We'll shove some stickers in there as well. And I'm sure we'll have another giveaway at some point. We've got some other Undertaker prints left over. So next time we do an undertaking, perhaps we'll give them away as well.
Congrats, Chris.
Yes. Next week, next podcast, we will be discussing AEW All Out. Kind of hyped for that because I've been a bit lax on catching up with AEW, so it'll be nice to watch a full pay-per-view and see what's up and what's happening and who's good and all that stuff. So we'll be back for that. After that, we'll probably have a week off, and then, John, it's supposed to be the quiz. Are you ready?
Yeah. No.
John is going to be hosting the. I guess it's the summer quiz, right? Is it? Yeah.
No, the autumn quiz.
Autumn, of course. That is the next season. How could I forget? So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. If people perhaps want to send some questions over to John and make his life a little bit easier,
please do. Questions are welcome.
he should probably email John's private address. But if people have got general correspondence, what do? Maybe they were part of the Thunderdome and they want to tell us about it. Brett?
They can send their emails to hardestpartofthering@gmail.com, or they can, message us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We are at Hardest Part Pod.
Brilliant. Okay, well, it was great to have you back, Brett. How did you feel?
I enjoyed it. I missed last week. I missed not being there. I should say. Not I missed it. Obviously, everyone knows I missed it.
You didn't bloody listen to it. You kind of missed it that much. You didn't even listen to it. Literally, the closest thing to being on the podcast is listening to the podcast.
Yeah, but then I wouldn't be listening to me talking.
Did you please tell me you actually downloaded it, though?
I downloaded it, definitely.
Okay, good.
Every time.
Good.
That's the main thing. Do you know, on a lot of the podcast apps, it's not actually all about the download. It's about just playing it. You need to actually play it. Or at least play half of it. Okay, good.
Will you, though?
Sam knows me too well.
I mean, we always get good numbers on the SummerSlam episode. I'd say SummerSlam's second to our WrestleMania episodes in terms of people actually wanting to listen and hear all about it. So yeah, we had a good response. So thank you to everybody who did tune in for that. We will be back next week for All Out. But until then, it's goodbye from me, Adam. Goodbye, Sam.
That don't impress me much.
Goodbye, John.
Goodbye.
I thought you were going to carry on.
No.
That could have been
me too.
The most cheesy ending ever. Goodbye, Brett.
And goodbye.
That was the hardest part of the ring.
That is the hardest part of that ring.